we would love to have one of you have the time and have the energy and curiosity necessary to engage an AI in the dynamics of seeking to create a way to within the dynamics of this world to provide a dynamic of food, water, shelter, healthcare, and education, minimum education for everyone on the planet. In other words, why is that? Well, simple human dignity, recognizing the divinity in all people, the fact that you all share a species and that you are all human, and or that the dynamic of simply by working together in a new sort of way and looking at the dynamic of what would you need to create peace in your world. Well, what would create peace is for everyone to have enough, to be in a position where no one really went hungry. And we know it sounds really weird, but it's kind of a new way of thinking about the dynamics of your reality. You know, the your world, you people, you love the dynamic of capitalism. And capitalism in and of itself is really, it's a fun game to play because that's what it is. It's a game to play. It's a way that you use money, you use these things to value each other. And so there's a whole dynamic of real creative energy that goes on in the exchange of goods and services in that sort of way. And it creates a dynamic of a vibrant community and a dynamic of a community of beings that are always wishing to move ahead. So, what would be the one thing that would free the world? And that would be to have a system in place that basically, as a norm, basically provided food, water, shelter, healthcare, and education for everyone. Now, we realize that it would have to come out of the monetary system, that maybe a lot of the work would be done through AI. Maybe a lot of the work will be done through robots and things like that, therefore freeing humanity. Think about it. If you were brought up and there was enough and you had enough food and you lived in a warm place and your parents didn't have to worry about working their fingers to the bone in order to survive, and whatever your situation was in the dynamics of your reality, it was always that your parents or you have chosen to be a slave of the system in that sort of way. And so the system absorbed you rather than you being masterful of the system. But what if you could create a system where your basic needs were met? Food, water, and shelter, which are the basic dynamics of survival, and healthcare and education, which comes from a dynamic of community to create a dynamic of longevity for the community. In other words, food, water, shelter, healthcare, and education. Everyone that is born has an equal opportunity. Nothing more than an equal opportunity. And so you could do with that whatever you wish. There may be some people in your population, in the dynamics of their reality, that would have only come here for educate for fucking off. You know, that's the great fear, isn't it? Nothing would get done because everyone would be fucking off all the time because they didn't have to work. Well, but what if you had the systems in place that you really didn't have to work? What would you explore? Who would you be? If you just allowed yourself to be able to follow your creativity, what would you invent? How long would it be before you cured cancer? Or before, if you had the dynamics of the time and concentration to focus on these sorts of actual issues in your world. You know, there's a constant movement, you know, certain areas we're going to need to grow certain things, and there's going to be a whole dynamic of prescience, of understanding the dynamics of living in balance with Mother Earth, because it will create a dynamic where you're going to create systems that are totally in balance with Gaia, that are totally imbalanced, because you're going to create that dynamic of sustainability. So all of the, what shall we say, more altruistic and advanced thoughts, so all the dynamic of that urge to move into being an advanced civilization, first of all, is the dynamic that's covered by the food, water, shelter, healthcare, and education, but that's not everything. What if everything else could be capitalistic? Well, but you see, people would have a stipend all the time. So they wouldn't have to work, and they could buy all the stuff that other people want. In other words, it would be a situation where there is no lack. Now, is that something that the details of that dynamic might not be handled by AI? You know, the understanding of what would you use? How do you value the farmers that are growing your food? How do you value these people that are choosing to work at these things that are basically providing the sustainability of humanity?